I want to turn next to a hidden hurt being suffered by working people, and that has to do with the pension crisis. In the United States, working people, in general, have two kinds of pensions. One, Social Security provided by the government. The other one, private employer pension systems. Those are systems where money is taken out of your salary or your wage every week, if you're lucky enough to have such a program. Sometimes it's matched more or less by your employer and put aside so that you have something for your older age. And let's remember, it's not just honoring people who have given a lifetime of work to our society that a pension serves. It's also the children of those people, because if there isn't a pension for the older ones, they really have nowhere else to turn but to their children. So it becomes then an economic concern for the entire family, not just the older folks, everybody who's connected to them. Here's the raw fact that we have to analyze. And here I'm helped by Professor Teresa Gilarducci, a professor at the New School University in New York City, where I also teach. She's done wonderful work on the pension crisis of the United States, and I'm relying on her work. In 2000, at the beginning of this century, over 50% of American workers had some kind of coverage, it's called pension coverage. That is, they had some sort of private employer pension that they could rely on when they retire. As of 2016, the latest data that Professor Gilarducci had access to, it was down to slightly over 35%. That is an enormous drop, a drop roughly of a third of the people covered lost their coverage. Let me give you some of the statistics she's developed that dramatize all of this. People who near retirement are facing the following statistic. Poverty rates for people in America double when they get to retirement because of this falling retirement pension crisis in America. You don't hear it, you don't see it, but it is going on underneath. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Here's another statistic. In New York City, it is very hard to save money. It's very expensive. Half of coupled older households, that's households of older people with at least one nearing retirement, have less than $60,000 in total assets they can rely on when they retire. You can't possibly live in New York City in retirement on $60,000 spread over however many years you're going to live. Here's an even more amazing statistic. Half of single older workers, and single older workers is a growing category, have less than $5,000 saved. In other words, pensions are the difference between poverty and a decent life for millions of our fellow citizens. Here's what I want to stress. We have an example of something similar. In our crazy political system, politicians are afraid to tax corporations and the rich because then they won't donate money to their candidacies and their campaigns and give money instead to their enemies, pushing them out of office. So they dare not tax corporations and the rich. And they've been shifting the burden of taxes onto the mass of people as a result. And it's gotten so bad that the mass of people now will not tolerate more taxes. So they have to come up with a way of handling this situation. And here's what they do in cities and states across the country. They, quote unquote, defer maintenance. Here's what that means. They don't keep up the sewer systems. They don't keep up the bridge systems. They don't keep up the road systems. They avoid spending money so they don't have to tax either the rich, who they're afraid of, and the mass of people who they're afraid of in a different way. The rich won't give them money, and the mass of people won't give them votes. And the combination means what? We're not taking care of our infrastructure. So we are having our roads and bridges and harbors falling apart, and our sewers and our water mains and all the rest of it, as you know. Well, you're doing that now to old people. You're doing that by taking away pensions, which is going to come back and blow up in your face, just like our falling infrastructure is hobbling our economy and hobbling life for so many. It is an irrational way for a capitalist system to cope with its problems, and we're living in it.